music fans out there, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Coda Country Chats. I hope you're listening to us on Christmas Day, because if you are, take a second and just listen in, bundle up with your little coziest blanket, maybe find you some hot cocoa, and turn up the episode to hear more about Amanda Stewart. How are you today, Amanda?
Hey, I am so good. How are you?
I'm doing so well. And Amanda's coming on the show today to talk about her newest EP that released back on December 15th called Since It's Christmas. And what better way to celebrate the Christmas season than to talk about your new Christmas EP, Amanda? So let's talk a little bit about it. One of the things that I read when I was doing research on this EP was about one of the songs, Along December. So tell us a little bit about Along December, because I know some of the listeners may be familiar with the song itself. So go ahead and give us a little bit of your take on that.
Yeah, so Along December is a song by the Counting Crows, as probably most people know, but some people don't. In fact, actually, my stepdad didn't realize that it wasn't my song. He's like, "Oh, it's so beautiful." He's so sweet. He loves all of my music. So, but it was a song that actually my producer and friend Tim Bruns brought to me as just kind of when we were throwing around ideas of songs to put on the EP, because I said, I want to do Christmas music, but I don't want it to be like traditional Christmas music, as a parent you can see or hear in the album, with the exception.
Yeah,
And so we were just
yeah.
like throwing around ideas, and he brought it up, and I was like, man, that's actually like brilliant. I haven't thought of that song in a long time. It's not traditional, but it's a beautiful song. The way that Counting Crows do it is, Counting Crow style, obviously. So, but if you really listen to the lyrics and what it's saying, and so we just had the idea to just kind of take it and put the twist and make it my own, and here we are.
Yes, and you know what I loved is when I was doing my research and reading up about it, before I even listened to it, I read a line that described your version as having a sweet, buttery tang or twang, and I was like, "This is, oh my gosh, this is incredible." So when I heard it, I was like, "Yes, that makes so much sense to me." So how awesome!
Oh,
Yes, that was the perfect song, I think, for you to kind of bring into the EP and kind of set the tone for the entire project as a whole. So awesome. I loved hearing that. How
thanks.
did you, so like specifically for Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas and some of the songs that we kind of know and have heard several times over, how did you want to make
Yeah.
these songs more your own? Like what else, what other things did you do
Yeah.
to make them all about you, or all from you?
I always kind of joke whenever people ask me what my like genre of music is or my style. I always say like, it's sad girl songs, or melancholy, sad girl country, or whatever you want to call it. Not every song is sad, but I don't know. I just, with this Christmas project in general, I just really wanted to bring songs to people that maybe weren't, all about the holly jolly spirit. I think the word melancholy is a good vibe. I myself personally, around holidays and birthdays and things like that, I'm actually a pretty happy person, but I always get this like little hint of melancholia, and I think there's something beautiful about that. And so I really wanted to bring that into this work too. It's kind of my MO anyway, in general, with songs I write. And so, so when I chose Long December, I felt like that it just really fit in. And then Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. It's a very sweet, simple, but kind of sad song. It talks about how like we're not all together, but we could be or will be soon,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. And it's just kind of like that glimmer of hope. And that's why I put it last too, because I felt like all the songs leading up were just kind of a little raunchy, a little sad, a little whatever, and then add that like touch of hope at the end to kind of like wrap it all up felt like the right thing. So
That's so true. You talk
yeah,
about that glimmer of hope. And I think in one of the lyrics it says, if the fates allow, like if they allow us to be all
exactly.
together, like that's kind of powerful if you think about it. Like how time, like you were just saying, you might not all be together at the same time, or you might not be able to celebrate with your family depending on a certain situation. But I like how your spin on that song specifically kind of leads itself to show the listeners and your fans kind of how Christmas is gonna feel once it feels like resolute, and once it feels merry and wistful almost. I love that. So Yeah, I'm really I'm really glad that you shared that with me because that's exactly the feelings I was listening or I was experiencing when I was listening to it. So tell me a little more. When you decided to put out a Christmas EP specifically, what was the idea? Like what was the overall goal, I guess, in putting out the EP, the project?
Yeah, I think the overall goal really was just to just put out something a little different. It started off actually with my friend Aram Ray. She and I wrote two of the songs on there. We wrote together uh, "One Hell of a Year," and the "Merry Christmas to Us," kind of the more
Uh-huh.
raunchy ones. And we just kind of had an idea of putting something out that we hadn't really heard before. Like you've got like the kind of Elvis vibes, Blue Christmas, whatever, and then you have very happy stuff, but you don't really have anything that's just basically like it's been a whatever year, f it, we're just gonna like have fun, do whatever. And so it kind of started with that, and as a parent, and one of the Merry Christmas to Us, one of the lines is, we're forced to hear the Mariah Carey songs all the time, which those Mariah Carey is wonderful. I don't hate her or anything. I love her, but we're just kind of like, like just give me a country Christmas. Like let's throw a little like Loretta Lynn kind of vibes into this. It's been a while since we've heard that. So
Yes.
that's kind of how it started. And then as I was going along, I was like, it wouldn't be true to myself and authentically me if there wasn't a little bit more of that kind of like I said, melancholy vibes to it. And so I wrote Since It's Christmas with my friend and producer Tim Bruns, and then wrapped it all up with Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. And it just felt like that was a good little like, here's my take on Christmas. There's a little sad, little hope, little bit of happy, little bit of like, let's go crazy. Like seems to sum me up pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
love that. No, I'm so glad that you said that because one of the questions that I had for you, and now this is very like Christmassy themed. What would you say is your least favorite Christmas song? Because I definitely have mine. I know that sounds terrible, but I do. So tell me, what do you think might be your least favorite song?
You know, I don't know that I honestly, okay, this is crazy, but I really don't like Little Drummer
Ah,
Boy.
I get it. Oh my gosh, that little drummer kid would not stop.
Mean, like, I really don't hate any song, but like that one for me, I just can't get through it without laughing. And I feel like it's so like, okay, this kid's just drumming her. Yeah. But honestly, there's other songs that get stuck in your head. And after a while, since they're stuck in your head so long, you're kind of like, I hate this. But at the same time, I don't know, my
I know
moments.
what
So
you mean.
I think,
Yeah, it's hard to say that you hate like any Christmas song because they all kind
yeah.
of put you in that like mood of being merry and jolly and that kind of stuff. Well, I
Yeah.
think
Like, I like all different vibes. They put you.
yeah, exactly. I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be oh my gosh, do you hear what I hear? And I just sang it like it was a
Oh,
jam, but like
yeah.
that's yes,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
one of the ones I'm like, I don't know if I could if I had to listen to that forever and ever. I just don't think that would be the vibe for
You
me. So
Can you imagine working retail and listening to that kind of stuff like over and over and over, like working in the mall or something?
I was just thinking that, like, if I had to listen to it on repeat for 24 hours, like my ears would bleed. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Well, let's
Ugh.
flip it and do. Okay, I love this holiday questions. We talked about your least favorite Christmas song. Do you have like a favorite holiday movie? A favorite?
I do really love The Holiday, actually. It's with Winslet and Jack Black and Jude Law and Cameron Diaz. I really love that movie. They swap
Yeah.
houses, the ones in London, the ones in California, I believe. And then, yeah, they both, they enter with crappy situations and then they leave with great happiness. So, I mean, I don't know. I like that.
I want to say that I saw something. about them making a sequel or like some kind of redo or reboot of that movie because I'm with you. Like it was such a cute concept of a movie for you know the holidays in general. I love
Yeah,
that idea. Okay, here's a
I love that.
yeah,
Love. I gotta do honorable mentions. Now I'm
of
thinking about it.
course.
I of course love Christmas Story. Like that's a classic. It's on every day. Like I, every day, like leading up to Christmas. Not, and then the Grinch.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My children are obsessed with the Grinch right now. So like that's we've watched it probably 7 times in the past like 2 weeks. So
Uh,
yeah, of course, wonderful movies. Okay, but do you like the cartoon or do you like the Jim Carrey? I feel like they're totally different.
I, I like the Jim. I mean, the cartoon's classic too, but I do like the Jim.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and that like the music in it, I think is really good too. Like I think about Cindy Lou who's singing her song, and just loving that. That's so sweet. And then that Faith Hill rendition is just,
Oh, it's so
well,
pretty.
and it's kind of like that melancholia, like you talked about with your EP. Like it's very much like a sad, wistful yet hopeful song. That Christmas is gonna show up and just bring all these wonderful memories. And even though you're not feeling it right this second, like yeah, that's cool.
Mm,
Cool way to
yeah.
bring that back in. Okay,
Hmm.
I've got 2 more Christmassy questions for you. And this one may be a little telling. Have you ever re-gifted a present?
Ooh, yeah, definitely. Like a candle that I smell of, totally.
I love that because sometimes you just get that thing where you're like, man, I think someone else could use this.
Someone else would like it. Someone else is a really big fan of like the warm vanilla sugar. For me, it's like a lot. Just
I totally get that. Oh my gosh. Okay. And the last question I have about Christmassy holiday things, um, what would be the best present that you could receive this Christmas? Whether it's wrapped under your tree or just, happens to be an opportunity that meets you at your doorstep. What would it be?
um, as far as both of them, I guess opportunity wise, just more opportunities to play. I've been able to travel a lot more this year, shows and things like that, and I'm really loving it. So I guess just any opportunity to like play more shows in different states I've never been to, that would be amazing. Hop on a tour with someone or just what have you. As far as like Christmas presents under the tree, I need a new pair of spurs for
Ooh.
riding. For as far as like music equipment and stuff goes, I'm one of those people that like get what I know. I don't really get that. If I need it, I'll go buy it. If I want it, sometimes too. I've been pretty good about like not being frivolous with spending. But that's partially because I already have a pretty good collection of like guitars and stuff. I
Yes.
don't need anymore.
That's really cool though, just because so I didn't know that you rode for with your
Oh,
spurs.
yeah, I
Like
have
how cool. That's
mhm.
awesome. So
I have
yeah, go ahead.
their names.
Yeah.
So one horse's name is John Nayer, like mayor, but and then my other horse, Bruce Springsteed, like steam steed.
That's perfect. Oh my gosh. I love a good name pun. That's perfect. So okay, are these horses with you now or do you have to like go visit them? Tell me about your horse life. I love hearing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably too bright to see out my window right now, but there's one just out the window. John Mayer is out there right now. He's my older. He's 12. He's a good boy. And then Bruce is a new one. I just got him this year. He's a younger guy, and so he's with the horse trainer right now because he was completely not broke. Doesn't Has never been ridden before.
Oh my gosh.
So
How
it's been cool.
cool.
I've been able train him and stuff. I got to ride him first. But he's with her, learning how to be a good boy, and John is with Bruce is ready. He'll come.
That's perfect. Let me ask you this too. I said I had one more question, but now I have multiple. Do you have any big plans for the holiday?
I don't. We did so much travel and stuff and played parties and all of that like leading up to it. in the home stretch, and I just get to hunker down. I do have, gigs here. I live in Montana. I live
Yeah.
in Bozeman, Montana, just close to this town called Big Sky. It's a resort town, and that's actually how I make a living. Is I play music up in Big Sky a lot,
Yeah.
and so we just like some kind of random gigs, for people that are in town. And so, like, I play tonight and tomorrow and Saturday, and then I play a Christmas service. I'm playing some Christmas music on Christmas Eve. And but other than that, I just get to go play for a couple hours and then come home and just snuggle in and get cozy. So I'm excited.
What a wonderful Christmas you have coming up. How awesome. For the listeners out there, if you haven't checked out Amanda Stewart's EP, Since It's Christmas, go stream it, go download it now. Amanda, if you will, give us a shout out of how we can find you on social media, how we can follow along with you, and just keep up with everything you're doing.
Yeah, please follow along. I would love that. I'm always posting, about my farm horse life and of course music and where I'm next. All of my handles on social media are just at Amanda Stewart Music. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of
Perfect.
that at Stewart Music. And then my website is amandastewartmusic.com.
That's perfect. Short and sweet. Easy peasy, guys. So if you're listening out there, go follow along with Amanda Stewart. Amanda, thanks so much for being an awesome guest on the show today. What a wonderful way to bring in the Christmas time. How cool.
Thank you so much for having me. Awesome. So great to chat with you.
Yes, definitely. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Thanks so much for tuning in, listeners.